Huh. Yeah, thanks to a fight breaking out in the city between the north and the south. I figured it'd be easy to make our getaway as long as we could shake the captured guard, but the gates of South Bursary had closed. No, you could say we made it in the nick of time. Please wait, Habriiel is still in a room at the tavern. Now that gates are shut, we can't get past the walls. Unless we dive down from high up in the sky like Lancelot did. Don't worry, Habriiel is a tough one. Despite her looks, she's used to this sort of infighting. I'm sure she's ordering Mike around freely, protecting the tavern right about now. We can go pick her up once the frenzy dies down. You and Habriiel aren't even that close in the first place, no? There's no need to be that worried, she'll be fine on her own. That may be so, but... I'm worried about Habriiel too, but we can't afford to rest on our laurels here either. Atori is a suspect of murder of Nugget. Now it was only a matter of time before war broke out between the North and Southern fairies. We're allied with the Northern fairies, so we labeled as the enemy of the 6 clans along with the Round Table Army. First of all, you should head back to London while you still can. First of all, hey, you mug, it's all pale, what's wrong? No, please don't concern yourself with me, I'm just a little tired. I like to believe this riding is limited to Salisbury, but... As Muramos has said, the situation requires an urgent response, we need to act fast. Nonsense, you need to get treated first, don't you? You aren't even breathing properly, first of all. Good grief, let's borrow a bed from either Gloucester or the village nearby. We can worry about things afterwards. I agree, let's find a place to rest right away. No, we got a major cleanup to do before that. All the noise attracted the Morse here. It's smooth sailing compared to how bad it is in Salisbury. Let's take care of this quickly and... Hold on, these numbers aren't numbered. What's happening? Ash Da Vinci, take Percival with you out and run. Get to the force over there. Grim Yuki, Atoria, let's do this. Brace yourself. We'll be fine if we can hold out for 2 minutes. After that, we'll also run for the woods.
出陣します。私の後に続きなさい。断ち切れそうでしょ。戦いですか。ほう、目をよく言いました。それは絶えず見た滅びのよう。最果てにありながら、トリバースのロードス、キャメル。死になさい。召し上げましょう。光栄の本気です。無駄ですよ。手に入りあまり悩ませない。さて、どこから潰しますか。火薬の匂い。暗きよく言いました。それは絶えず見た滅びのよう。最果てにありながらトリバースの形。ロードス、キャメル。分断する。ここで無駄ですよ。
Oh, more spawning.
目に映るために全てを運命いいでしょう。 たる。それはいつか来る兆しの星。誰に呼ばれるまでもなくあなたは星をかざすでしょう。アラウンドスカイバーン。それは絶えず見た滅びの世。最果てにありながら鳥は明日を照らし、ロードツキャメル。
That was absurd. I'm sorry, even though I need to be fighting. That's enough of that. Here, eat this. Dried fruits reserved for the occasion. You should be able to recover a bit of your strength. Thank you very much for this. You really are the child of prophecy. An incredibly strong and straightforward girl. I'm glad I believed in and waited for you. The road's messed up. There are moors piling up everywhere. You can't make any careless moves. What on earth is happening? Whoa, you made it back. How are the outer cities holding up? I see, so it's finally begun. Grim. Both Gloucester and London are out of the question. Moors are appearing all throughout the island. Every city has closed its gate and gone on the defensive. On top of that, fairies consumed by fear are likely to turn into moors on their own. There is no safe haven left in Britain. The great comedy has begun. Why did this begin so suddenly? It's bound to happen. Morgan had been anticipating it for years. However, she couldn't have known what form the comedy would take until the time came. The Great Comedy is like a rot that gathered across Britain for over 1,000 years. The island is flooded with magical energy of large amounts of voices, agonizing death. The comedy accumulates this energy and grows in size. That is how the Great Comedy is. As long as Britain exists here, it is bound to happen. It sounds like a form of bloodletting. It's like getting rid of bad blood in Spain, or rather, the herbs. Do you understand what kind of comedy will come from that this time, Grim? I do know, more like I know what it is. Hello, Momo. I didn't get it when Morgan was around, but now that she's gone, I guess what's going on? The Great Pit. The guy secluded down there is on his way up. That's the reason I was sent here, but there's more to it than that. The red and black comedies in the prophecy. Yeah, according to freaking Gary Noses, there is a sign of more than one comedy. Those two are out of my jurisdiction. I have no idea what form they would take. Please wait a second. Do you say signs? Then the comedy hasn't really begun, has it? The Great Pit. Tony Lico said if it wakes up, Britain is over. Whatever is at the bottom isn't fully awake, so... We want to strike while we still can. Sounds like a plan. You saved me a long explanation last. But we need the cooperation of the Fairy of Paradise. What comes after the pilgrimage? The God of Wisdom say we have to put what's at the bottom of the pit back to sleep. Still, there's some pretty vague instruction. I don't know what exactly it is talking about. Atori, it is where you take over. The final step of the pilgrimage, the true purpose of the fairies of paradise. It's that is... It's... What an awful timing. Read the room or something. Jeez. Ignore. Just keep going, Atori. I'll call them back later. No, wait a second. We got a call, Da Vinci. That was from Chaldea. Sorry, Da Vinci. That was a radio. The radio is working again. None of our electronics were working in Britain, but now they are. Of course. With all the bonehead... Oh, hello. Whitney Watson here. Chaldea, come in. This is 21B Baker Street. It seems our reception is good, Miss Watson. We're not quite certain what's happening there. Our last carrier alert message was 4 days ago. So I'll just sum up the situation for you. The border internal system has been gradually coming back online for the past hour. The system knocked offline just by approaching Britain has also been restored. We're currently replenishing energy with steam power and performing maintenance on our next section. Also, the radar has confirmed high levels of natural energy pollution throughout the island. Britain is starting to fall apart. It may only be speculation, but I'm confident that's the truth. The island itself was rejecting proper human history, including the storm border. If Britain loses power, then we'll be able to intervene. So the border can move now. Of course, Mr. Yuki. For that reason, I'd like you to return to the border immediately. The professor is still not fully recovered. The reaching assistance will be necessary to put together a cruising program for Britain's magical energy density. The storm border will return to its full functionality about 6 hours after return. Hurry, Da Vinci. Right, it's coming from the Great Pit, then the storm border can. Now we can stand up against any colony. We can treat Percival too. I'm very grateful you thought of me, but please, if you would, just leave me behind. You're in a race against time, aren't you? You can't afford to let me burden you. That's not the case at all. I'll carry you on my back so we have no trouble moving. Isn't that right, Da Vinci? As long as we don't run across a swarm of Morskin, though that doesn't seem very likely. First of all, Morse will come if you stay here. If we leave you behind, this means we'll be leaving you to die. You know that, and you'll still ask us to do so. You call us friends, Atori, Mash, and Yuki. That is... Yes, I know it's terribly selfish of me. I say you're prepared to go that far, then there's nothing more for me to say. Da Vinci. Yep, talking more would be pointless, so let's just force you to come with us. Alright, Red Rabbit, I know you're hiding, come out here. Well, I've been found out, but I was champing at the bit for the best timing. Red Rabbit, what are you doing here? Why indeed, there's a reason, but I cannot disclose. Please do not question or investigate this any further. That's a relation between me and you. Anyway, I understood the situation while hiding behind a tree. Everybody, they require a carriage. It happens to be a special runaway express. Driven by the foremost of the greatest horse in the fairy kingdom, capable of running all the way to the destination without rest. MX70, huh? Pathetic feeling tired from a fight of this magnitude. My body feels hot, my horn feels like buzz bursting. What's going on? The more I kill, the more there are. No. I feel more and more tired, and I can't think straight. They're still here. There's no end to them. There is no end, but the Round Table army is escaping outside. Come, Wars, I will be your opponent. Vargas' last stand. That's a lot buff she's getting. What's happening? I'm seeing red. Did the Morris poison get into my eyes? I can't see well. It's almost like it's nighttime, but... Alright, that was the last one. They gave me a fair bit of trouble, but now the Round Table army humans should... I'm sorry I wasn't strong enough. Telling them to flee the castle. How constant of me. But was there any other way? If only death would wait both inside and outside then. Would it have been better if I had just devoured them all? The weak are students for the strong. The strong should be to protect the weak. That's right. Even if this end for Britain, there are yet things I want to protect. I have to go. I'm sorry. I cannot afford to fall here with you all. Manchester, to Manchester. As the lord of that city, I have to. I have to protect denizens of Manchester. Oh, there are Moors all over the plains. Those same predator types that showed their face in Norwich. Hurry! I don't care if you ruin the wheels. We have to reach Norwich before sundown. But Lord Spriggan, the soldier we let outside Salisbury are... Not another word about that. I brought up that army myself. It's deplorable. Even so, with this many Moors, there is nothing that can be done. An armed human would make no difference. Only the Fan clan could handle this many Moors. And unfortunately for us, they vanished after heading to Gloucester. Then isn't it pointless to escape to Norwich if we join forces with the Northern Fairies once more? It's precisely because I cannot do that why I'm resorting to this. A lot of them won't settle down now that Nugget is dead. I was planning on dealing with her eventually, but there's a time and place for everything. Why kill her now? Why not wait until after the Great Calamity? The Fairies absolutely needs a ruler to rally under. Morgan history is proof of that. What was that woman thinking? No, could it be? She wasn't thinking at all. No thoughts of the future, no expression in power, no beliefs that she'd be best ruler of this kingdom. Nothing at all. Is she nothing more than a girl who wishes to get rid of anything she dislikes? I don't believe this. You can't live for more than 2,000 years thinking like that. She's nothing but a monster. Don't believe the Northern Fairies. Nugget was the comedy. Salisbury is Lady Aurora's city, and we'll protect it ourselves. Is any man affected by the Moor's poison? Say something before you get us worse. We'll treat it right away. The outside is dangerous. Protect the humans. They're our property. Don't let them leave the city. Anyone who opens the gates is a traitor. Report as soon as you find one. Conduct yourselves as befits your plan. Lady Aurora will see us through this somehow. Hail Lady Aurora. Hail Lady Aurora. Lady Aurora. Hail Lady Aurora. The day breaks without a single issue. How nice. How nice to see all the commotion outside has calmed down. Now let's enjoy our morning tea, Koro. Lady Aurora, we call that peaceful. They were having difficulty disposing of the ferry corpse on the main road. The gates has been shut, so they cannot be carried outside. And what's more, the Northern Fairies. Yes, what a sad ending for them. Not only is Nugget dead, but the secret of Edinburgh is out. What has happened to Northern Fairies in Salisbury? They've all gradually lost their strength and class, as if in response to Nugget's death. We opened the nursery and placed in the one still breathing under the house arrest there. A nursery? Is there such a place in Salisbury? The Institute for Raising Human Children your order built 16 years ago, Lady Aurora, has stood abandoned for 6 years, so I took it upon myself and make use of it. Well, that little house, I loved it, so adorably built. But that, what was his name? The gray-haired human child. It's been a little difficult to go there since that child was discarded. I was someone we already forgotten. Why did you discard him, Lady Aurora? Well, he grew up making use of the spirit, didn't he? He's only human. Once he looks like an adult, he can't be a child prophet anymore, can he? Is that what it was? Was it selfish of me to reopen the nursery? No, it was a good idea, Koro. That place is well equipped for purging the interior. We can send them all off to sleep, but one finger, just right for the wounded Northern Fairies. Anyway, have the child prophecy and our friends been captured yet? To murder Nugget simply because they lost their competition. I will not allow it. The child prophecy must be punished accordingly. Stop lying, Aurora. The forgiving is equally guilty, but must have been tricked by the child prophecy. As a leader Wiccan, I will offer clemency for his crimes. He must have so many stories about outside world to share. Hey, what fun this will be, Koro. What could a world outside Britain be like? It must be many different type of humans after all. It is a world expanded through their own efforts. It must be filled with so many strange captivating things. Now is not the time for that. The Moors continue to increase in number outside the city, and the fairies that have escaped from the surrounding forest are beating on the gate. Some fairies inside Southbury are developing symptoms of the Moor sickness. We urgently need more places to treat them. After opening the gates and admitting the refugees, we must open the capital for that purpose. We can't handle this on our own. We should ask the humans of Gloucester or London for assistance. Why? Why not just keep the gate closed? Have the guards pass judgment on any fairies who contract the Moor sickness. That is why we raised the humans after all. Lady Aura, what are you saying? It is true that humans are lesser beings, but they too have hearts. Having them execute their fellow citizen is, and to abandon the refugee outside. They'll be fine. They're strong children who chose a life in those shabby woods rather than in my city. They will survive this time as well. Somehow or another, we shall preserve the peace in Salisbury. Everyone will settle in time, Quirrell. Let's just remain calm until then, alright? Do we do nothing? Just hide away in safety of the bell tower? You shouldn't say such naughty things, you know? Now I'll have to take away your wings. Just like that argument-loving Harbolomia. You know my feeling, and you work for me. What smart girl. She always was, and always will be. That's it. We don't know the details, but just what was relayed with the voice of the wind. The coronation ceremony at Salisbury was interrupted. Lady Nugget was murdered by the child of prophecy. And Moors are materializing all over Britain. The Moors' corruption is leaking out of the Great Pit, and Camelot has fallen under a dark fog. I understand it will definitely spread this far. It seems the Great Colony has begun, but Gloucester's position will not change. Gloucester's way. Accept any all refugees so long as they swear to continue their fun and within clan lines. My fairy territory is still going strong. The Moors will not come into Gloucester. Still, there's nothing that can be done about the fairies turning into Moors inside Gloucester. Call on some flank clan mercenaries to execute them. Wait, no, have them immediately sent to the surrounding forest to clear them out. The Fang clan can withstand the Moors' poison better than any other. That is how they should subdue the Moors king. If this is nothing more than a large outbreak, then they should be able to handle it. We'll have to deal with the colony that comes next, the fog coming out of the Great Pit. Her Majesty Morgan may be no more, but the system she laid out is still solid. Fang clan and Camelot's reserves. If used appropriately, there will be no need to fear any calamity. Lady Murray, the Fang clan is no longer... Huh? Give me an instruction. Hurry up and get moving. I must continue to study the Great Pit and finally uncover the truth about it. The sword Britain origin, which Her Majesty decided to keep hidden away from the people. The first prophecy and Sonoris. If I can parse these out, I can uncover the true nature of the Great Comedy. I don't know what exactly is trying to destroy our Britain. But I swear on the Wind Clan, as Lord of Gloucester, I shall expose it magnificently. Of course you will, my lady. You are Lady Murrin, wisest and most fair in all Britain. I'm so proud to be a citizen of Gloucester. Please leave the city to us. This isn't a situation where I can afford to relax. There is no time to lose. If I don't have an answer before Kaya gets back, I won't look good enough to be a friend. I knew it. Cohen's told me about the existence of God, but in Britain there was only one being who fit that description, Thanatos, the bestial god of an island across the sea. This must be the god at the bottom of the great pit. The question is, why did this god disappear, and what did the 6 clans wish for? And why did this world follow a different path than proper human history in the first place? The answer, I'm close. 14,000 years ago, an invader fell from a shooting star. Did this the fairy? How could that happen? But still, retribution for no. The sins of the forefather excluded their own. It makes no sense to extend that grudge to their descendants. Besides, if this is true, it's only natural the Great Pit will be there. It's not God trying to destroy us, it's the island of Britain itself. Yep. Congratulations, you found your answer, Marin. Well done on eradicating the Fang Clan. Thanks to you, the scale of this comedy has increased dramatically. If they were still around, they could have defeated the Moors, and this wouldn't have developed into the great comedy. But this time it will be quite a show. The bigger that comedy, the better. Thank you for your contribution in causing this apocalypse. You had your revenge, and now you know the truth about Britain. Then you have no more regrets, right? It's that time after all. You. Well, that's alright. I have one final confession. It was so long ago. I really am sorry for setting the Fang clan after the Wing clan. There wasn't really a reason for it. I was just in a bit of a bad mood at the time. We've been running towards the west coast for a day. In a half now, we'll reach our destination soon. By the way, both my friend and Han's legs are growing numb. If I may be frank, I feel that any more of this would be dangerous. No, my racing life as a fairy horse will be at stake. Thanks for taking us this far, Red Rabbit. Yes, my legs aside. We have about 20 seconds before the carriage wheels break. Are you ready to jump out and run to the ocean? I can see a large number of Moors on the beach. To the very end, I wasn't sure about Ben human history, but perhaps you're the heroes who will truly save Britain. It was an honor to accompany you on that journey, and now this is as far as I can go. Everybody, please stay strong. Thanks, Master Red Rabbit. We couldn't have come this far without you. Leave the rest to us. Let's kick their ass, Grim. We'll clear a path to the coast.
出番かい。いいぜ。ちったら楽させてやるよ。
あまり悩ませない。楽しくなるでしょ。宝具をいい目を背けないで。
That's one giant Morse.
そういいでしょう。私の足元で許しを乞いなさい。落ちよロードレスキャメロット。死になさい。消えなさい。ブルーに戦いであれば、さてどこからあまり悩ませない。
やることは変わらねえよ。妖精がなんだってんだ。調子は悪くね
早時です。カルウェル運命をかけた戦いであれば。目に映
えな。
る
切るぜ。
全てを灰に。それは絶えず見た滅びの夢。最果てにありながら鳥が明日を形しロードレスキャメラ。
Wait, what? A second wave?
俺んな切るぜ。
いい判断です。
そこに至るはあまたの研鑽。気づきに気づいた刀塚。八重垣作るは千字の刃。知ったら成仏していきな。わか
モルゴ
俺んあのあた先に行く。真髄解明完成に収束。これが俺のつぶかい村正だ。わかぞくれてやるよ。てめえとは反りが合わねえよ。櫛灘姫を髪に
目を
刺し。
よく言いました。
真髄解明完成に収束。
It's Emmys though.
これが俺のつぶかい村正だ。
モルゴアコール。やっと血がたぎってきたのに終わりだなんて。いつの世も反乱分子。
We are back. Congratulations on the job well done, Yuki. You did well coming back safe and sound, Yuki. So it would seem that this cold Great Pit is a threat. We're picking up abnormal magical signature on our end. According to Shiba, the collapse event is due to occur in a few hours. I would have liked to take a short break in your room, but can you give us a detailed rundown? I lose my nerve otherwise. No, first we need to get a head count. You're the King Arthur of the Fairy Kingdom, Arturia. That was in the report. You're Percival of the Round Table Army, and you're opposite Kulin. Then we have the Apostle of the Alien God, Senji Muramasa, the Alter Ego. You're reliable as I had imagined. This solidifies our chance, I say. Good Tech, please make your acquaintance, fellows of the Fairy Kingdom Britain. I am the Director of Chaldea, and Honorary Commander of the Order, Gorda Musket. This issue is what I have no intention of putting labels like proper human history or Lostbelt on any of us. I'd like you laying as a strength as comrades and putting an end to this unprecedented panic. By the way, are we missing a few here? You had more companions in your report, right? Habitat is still in Salisbury. What are you saying? What about the nerfing fairies then? Didn't you become mad friends with Maeve lookalike after a mad match with her? Nugget passed away at the coronation. Oh, I see. A death at the coronation must have been a violent one. How unfortunate. We can't count on the departed, nor have we any need to blame them. Allow me to go over the situation again. Ladies and gentlemen, currently this ship is preparing for a water takeoff sequence. Nevertheless, it'll be some time before takeoff. Technical advisor, hurry over to the computer room. Nemo Professor needs your help. Magic will give the Fairy Kingdom a pair of a warp welcome. Christopher doesn't look too good. Take him to the infirmary first. As for Muramasa and Grimm, now that you boarded the ship, you will be both treated as Chaldean serpents. Have a chat with Captain Nemo regarding our upcoming battle formation. As for Yuki, you will. You look pale, but I suppose you're used to it. First things first, get yourself checked for physical trauma in the infirmary and replenish your command spells with our precious spare command spells. So that's how they keep getting command spells every day, huh? Come back here afterwards so the administrative advisor and I can debrief you. I'll need to explain each and every last aspect of Britain. After all, we'll be storming it in a couple of hours with the storm border. I'll need information on not just the land itself, but also your understanding of the fairies. Yes, sir. Very well, it's been a day and a half since our last remote communication. Assuming there's another 6 hours into takeoff, that'll probably be 2 days. There is no possible way the world can end in just 2 days. Still plenty of time left, we have to. Intense fighting is expected from this point forward. I want you, each and every last one of you, to avoid panic, remain calm, and recuperate. Two hours since the emergency meeting began. I see. I got a good grasp on the situation at hand. Thank you for the detailed report, Mr. Yuki. Now we know what must be done, although we must re-examine whether it is possible or not. What exactly do you mean by what must be done? Orally speaking, there are two things. One is stopping the collapse of Britain. In other words, investigating the Great Pit and preventing the calamity. That is eradicating the Moors that had appeared all over Britain. Second is our rejected as Chaldea, the acquiescation of a divine construct. This was just a hair breadth away, although its unfortunate ended in a failure. The dismantling of Camelot Holy Lands. I won't blame the Round Table Army, but couldn't they have finished it a day sooner, damn it. While we're on that topic, Grimm the Wise, would you kindly step over here? What's the matter? You have a question for me? Just a few regarding the divine construct. We had assumed our objective would have be complete once we managed to seize the Holy Lands of Camelot, however. According to Mr. Yuki, you had a desperate look on your face when that topic was brought up. May I ask why? That's great news. I'm not sure if the Holy Lands made by murdering stuff is something we can handle. But it will be great reference material for a divine construct. You really saved us. Well, you sure do pick up on the detail. Well, I guess so. That is a mistake. You can remove the Holy Lands all you want, but you can't arm this shit with it. A divine construct comes as a set, but if it's wielder, even if you make one, it's still unusable if you lack the qualifications. It's something you Chaldeans know, something that the bleached part of human history lacks. As long as you lack that, Chaldea can never possess that divine construct. Qualifications. It can't be. No, if considered more coherently, the reason we have come to this lawsuit no matter what. I see, so the reason Miss Shim was so insistent about Britain was because she knew about it. Well, warning. Gravitational function have been confirmed in the heart of Britain. Amazingly, it's like the alien gods light a black hole. Something really bad's coming out. Oh, I'd rather not use the scope to check it out. What are you? Oh no, we're in big trouble. Fires are breaking out all across Britain. The source of the fire is northern western Britain. Fiery winds are sweeping across the entire island, Britain, like a tsunami from a city of Manchester. Fires in Manchester. No panicking yourself. Get a more detailed opposition data. I like also to have it visual. Aim the super telephoto lens we use in Atlantis at the heart of Britain. It's not showing up on the screens. It's pitch black. I'm telling you, pitch black. It's like I'm taking a peek at the darkest abyssal depths, but something is occurring, no doubt about that. Looks like we'll have to go there ourselves to confirm it. What has the professor reported? How much longer until the cruising program is complete? He said it's already complete. They're currently verifying, and they want 30 minutes to renew it. As expected of the Talent Da Vinci, 3 hours ahead of schedule. Word of Holmes, this ship will now prepare for combat. You can go fetch Smash and the Torrecaster. We have no time to spare. As Captain, I'm willing to say this, but we'll likely won't have time to perform a test run. For the time being, attempted the treatment of minor injuries and tried using active impulse, but are you really sure you don't want to enter a recovery pod? Even if we can't hope for fundamental recovery, I think we could get a little of your strength back. Thank you for your concern. However, I'll have to decline until the great comedy has been purged. If I lie on that bed, I won't be conscious for a few days, will I? As a commander of Round Table Army, I find that hard to accept. Even if I cannot contribute, I wish to see Britain's fate with my own eyes. Hey, besides, I won't be able to face the Round Table Army if I sleep through it all. Speaking of which, there's something I'd like to tell her as well. I would have preferred not to say it, but since I got ahead of myself at the capture and let it slip. You're talking about being a substitute child prophecy, aren't you? Is that why you're in such a terrible condition? Aurora was the fairy who took in a human child. You, when you were but a newborn, was selecting you at a nursery, and Lancelot taught you swordsmanship. Their purpose was to rear a child prophecy of their own. Am I correct in assuming this? Yes, ever since Einstein prophecy, many measures were taken throughout Britain to obstruct that child prophecy. The Queen's Troop would round up newborn fairies, and in some ways they sheltered the next generation in order to let them grow. Certain place would raise them in secret. That is what the Lord of Salisbury must have thought. If you can't know where they're going to show up, why not just prepare one for yourself? So they gather human children and raise them as warriors. To be a substitute child prophecy, should the child prophecy not appear 16 later? I suppose so. I suppose they must have been thinking along those lines. So what happened after that? Lord Wu was found the most talented out of all the candidates. Salisbury housed the weapons that the saber-tongued Liko who saved Britain during the Found Cutter once wielded. The spear of selection, which had been left behind. A seal has been placed by Toniko such as only descendants may wield it. There wasn't a single fairy who could touch a spear of selection, only humans could. Hello, Sosuke. So that's why they gathered up human children, even if their vitality falls short. They would still be capable of wielding the spear of selection. To do so would minimum the prerequisite to being named a child prophecy. Yes, and one day, after having spent 10 years at this nursery, I was able to draw out the power of the spear of selection. I believe I was chosen by the spear of selection, kill the wicked fairies with the spear. I undoubtedly hear that voice in my head. And that was the day, also the day the Miro clan vanished from Britain. The day I was chosen by the spear of selection, she made her way to the Lake District at the Lord's behest. Oh, wait a minute, hold on a minute. The Miro clan vanished 6 years ago, right? But Percival, you are. The spear of selection expands the life of its wielder to exhibit its true power. I'm sorry, Toru, I turned 16 this year. I was roughly 10 years old when the spear of selection chose me, hence my appearance. I say my biological age places me around 26 years old. The average life expectancy of a human in Britain is 30 years, so that's why you didn't undergo a second growth spurt. Because there was nothing past that point from the start. First of all, the reason your life is I believe it to be because I'm a sturdier and blessed with a longer lifespan compared to my fellow humans. Dark Woolworths has taken a keen eye, it seems. That is what I'd like to apologize for, Victoria. I was to act as a substitute, Shadow Prophecy. No, I was raised to undermine you. I hid the effect from everyone and flew my banner in support of you. I used your name to establish the Round Table Army for my own sake. I preached peace for Britain, even while my position itself was a falsehood. It was not my place to do so. That's not true. It wasn't for your sake, because first of all, you're still forcing yourself to act to save the music scene, aren't you? Attention, all Stormboarder. The ship will now prepare for combat. Intense gravitation fluctuations have been observed at the heart of Britain. Homes believe this to be the beginning of the collapse event. In 30 minutes, the ship will cease standby operation at sea, shift to flight configuration, and storm Britain. Combatants are assembled on the bridge. On the bridge. I repeat, the ship will. Looks like that'll be all for now. I'm heading off to the computer room. How about the two of you? I'll head for the bridge. I've named myself a knight of the round table, no matter how false it may ring. To witness Britain's fate is the least I can do to honor my fallen comrades. Though my wish was a futile one. Their wish of a future for both humans and fairy was genuine. Everything's on fire. This is impossible. How is this happening? It's only been a day and a half. There's no way all Britain could go up in flames in that time. Are the Moors really such terrible creatures? If the Moors didn't burn things, this is entirely a different phenomenon. It's probably the Red Colony. It seems like the fire started in Manchester. That's where you struck your deal with Vargas, right? The one where, in the worst case scenario, you load fairies onto a ship and take them into proper human history. Yes, I heard about that from Vargas. You said she already explained the situation to Manchester citizens, and all the fairies happily agreed to it. Then we need to hurry. That was the plan. We have to confirm what started the fire. It'll be a bit of side trip, but it'll give us no problems on our way to storm into the Great Pit. Da Vinci, how things are on your end? No abnormalities with any of the Stormboarder functions. We're holding steady for 60 knots. Manchester, right? I was thinking that should be our first stop too. We promised Vargas after all. We're about 10 minutes away, but there's a huge fire surrounding the city at the moment. The city protected by walls, so the fairies inside should be still safe. To take them into border, we'll need them to all act as a group. So for that reason, I want Yuki and Mash to head into the city first. As soon as we reach altitude, we're airdropping the shadow border. The autopilot can handle the landing, but we need a driver. Miniori, can I ask you to take care of it? Sure thing, the old man's commanding, so I got no choice. A brave answer, Miniori, as expected of the border longest serving pilot. Of course, I've just been putting my feet up until now, so I can at least do this much. I'm counting on you all. Gather all the fairies together and explain the situation to them. Roger. Whoa, we're like an airborne division, all thanks to Da Vinci's autopilot. Surrounding hostile, no more detected. Exterior temperature, 10,000 degrees Celsius. It's just like a wildfire out there. Yuki, keep your mystic coat on. Full Frodo, all the way to the streets of Manchester, charge. We made it. Minori, I can't disengage the hatch lock. Open it quick. You can't go out there now. Shit, what the hell is going on? Wasn't Manchester supposed to be the perfect city, so why? How did it end up like this? Minori, what are you? Look at the monitors. What is this? Corpse mountain of corpse. It's not just hers, humans too. And they didn't die in the fires. There's human corpse with bite marks, and fair corpse torn apart by stab wounds. Meaning, the humans were mauled to death. Help me. They're gonna kill Jenny too. Lord Burgess has lost her mind. No, Jenny doesn't want to die. Jenny doesn't want to die. They said we'd survive. They said when the Great Comet came, Chaldea would save us. No, Jenny doesn't want to die yet. Jenny doesn't want to burn to death. Jenny doesn't want to be a knight anymore. Save me, Oberon. Jenny didn't want to be born, only to be killed. Vargas. That is her. She doesn't quite match the impression I got from the report. Did she do all this to Manchester? It's dangerous. We can't go outside. The amount of magic energy is increasing. What the? It's greater than the storm borders. She's devouring the smoke. She's throwing magic energy out of the fairy corpses. We'll be blown away like a ball, but we can't talk to her from inside the border. Wait, Miro, get us away from her. She's a magic eater from the report. She's sucking the life force out of Senpai. I'm already on it. No, wait. She's heading off somewhere. It's like she's ignoring us. She's leaving the town towards Gloucester. And it's not just her. She's leading a lot of black dog-like things, like the Pea Piper of Hamlin. You start marching along with her black dogs. That is the Black Homely. The retreat over the shop border is complete. Should I set course for the Great Pit? Yes, Manchester has fallen early. Vargas with black dogs in town. For the sake of convenience, let us refer to it as the Beast Colony. We could engage in combat with neutralizer, but heading to the Great Pit takes precedence. No objections, I presume. Hey, it is what it is, but you could have phrased it better. She may have been our enemy, but Vargas was one of the best fairies Peregrine had to offer. You're right. I don't know why Vargas massacred the fairies at the Manchester, but if she did all that, then it's no different than being a Morse. I have no objection towards labeling her as a comedy. Well, that's fine and all, but don't be too hard on yourself, Westeria. Nevertheless, a confrontation with Vargas is all but inevitable. She's a source of flame sweeping across Britain. Cities shielded by ramparts are holding out, but there's not a trace left of fairies and forests. Black smoke is accumulating in skies, birthing thunderclouds. She seems to be primarily feeding off the resilient lightning as sustenance. The amount of magic energy is steadily rising as she strides across the ground. At this rate, she'll end up an invincible monster. I'd like to neutralize her before that happens, but confirming the situation at the Great Pit takes precedent. There's a red and a black colony. No. Total war can wait until assess the enemy strength. Fortunately, the advance of the Beast colony is a slow one. It appears to be headed direction of Oxford. It will take 4 or 5 hours at this rate. In the meantime, we can work out a countermeasure. Otoria, Yuki, am I clear? Oh, nod. What is that? What is that? What is that? It's gross. It's gross. No, I don't want to look at it anymore. Oh shit. Look out. What on earth is? I see. You saw the great pit, didn't you? You can cry about that later. Project on the front of the monitor. Regardless of whether we can make use of it or not, our main objective is the Holy Lance at Camelot. We need to confirm the situation at the Great Pit as quickly as possible. I don't like this, but Roger, that projecting the video feed. What on earth is that? The dark mist oozing out of the Great Pit is an intensely commemorative curse layer. Anything it touches will lose the sense of itself entirely and rot away, so be sure to avoid contact. Yes, but it is amazing. The interior of the Great Pit it's like entirely separate dimension. I'm not getting any readings no matter what I fire off. That's the bottomless pit of curses right there. No, we can worry about the Great Pit later. Our concern is this. What are you gonna do, Metrolaws? Do your job. That's a tall order. Measure energy measurement impossible. Same graph dimension unknown. Unable to put total height or volume into exact numbers. Just above the Great Pit, it supports a height of 2 kilometers. It's way too big. A creature like this doesn't exist. Not even in the deep sea. Grim Device, is this a god that was identified during Britain's creation period? Yeah, to the Celts, he was the king of the beasts, the knower of the underworld. In this Britain, he was the dawn of creation. Beast of God Cenarius, the reason I was chosen as a vessel, the god of wisdom. However, I had no idea he charged this much. You gotta be kidding me, oh god of wisdom. It is beyond scope of what either human or fairy could handle, you know? It was on the miro. Are we dreaming this? Zeus was a machine, so that was still fine. There was the thing with lightning star, but with snow mountains and a mammoth, and so well and good. But that thing is alive. A creature of that scale can't possibly exist. On top of that, it's living right there in front of Camelot. This makes it impossible for us to retrieve broken midnight, or can we? What do we recon administer advisor? Do we have a shot at it? I say this with great reluctance, but I haven't the faintest clue, Mr. Goldar. There are far too many unknowns regarding that life form. However, just looking at it through the monitor is enough to tighten my chest to leave me breathless. A fearsome curse indeed. Surely there can be no mightier god of curses. It would be suicidal to disembark at Camelot right now. But in all likelihood, Queen Morgan prepared the lances for this instance. That much is clear judging by their placement. Then totally legal, no Queen Morgan. She was preparing a means of defeating that thing. She must have had a plan in place to protect Britain. Then we should head for Camelot right away. Yeah, that big fellow is still as a statue. It's possible that the creature is stationary, and the servant can withstand the curse to an extent. Like you said, we ought to drop in on the throne at Camelot. It's pointless, it's too late. It's all too late. The dark mist rising from the Great Pit. It showed up in Norwich. Then that means the comedy back then was this creature. That's right. That was just his hand, nothing more than one of its many hands. There's no time for that kind of talk. That hand that bulges on that hand. They're scaling the wall up towards Camelot. The castle is being destroyed. Magical energy count is skyrocketing. The culminating curse layer from the Great Pit is rapidly expanding. Estimated amount of containment emission is 64 million tons, and it's still rising. It's a tsunami curses that's going to drown all of Britain. Sharp turn 180 degree. Exit this airspace with engine at maximum output. Even the border won't hold up if we are consumed. Assume even the slightest stretch will do us in. It's no use, the output isn't rising. We can't get to the higher altitude. Daenerys' hands on 100, 200. Whoa, they're highly uncountable. We can't shake them off. There are hands every direction. There's no dodging this. Luigi, how's the shuttle border? It's useless. Even if we load everyone on the shuttle border and escape, the service is a sea of curses. There isn't a single escape route anywhere. There's already contact in 765. Bye bye everyone. Just to be clear, somehow that disgusting thing is gone. We have our output back. We can do this. We can escape from this sector. Splendid. That makes it worth my effort putting myself on the line. Did that teach you a thing or two about the secureness of NF service? What this Ozzy's sweet, richly beautiful voice is JP-rKyECtnz. Lady Myrn, you left the lights off again. Good grief. I've just returned from the coronation. I believe you already know the situation at hand. There's a blood stain. Myrn? Oh, Kaya, welcome back. Thank goodness, I still haven't said my farewell. As a relief, because I too came to say goodbye. I'm truly grateful for the flexibility of financing in commerce in Gloucester. Although the only things I stock up on the Fairbrand were Moors. I was able to enjoy a relaxing vacation thanks to your generosity, Lady Myrn. I'll return this favor someday, I swear it. When I establish my very own prime metal spear, I'll be sure to extend an invitation. Woohoo, that does sound very exciting. But I'm sorry, I can no longer tell. Because even now, it's like I'm seeing a dream. Once I wake up, I'm sure that you'll forget. Please rest assured, for I am the beast of treasuring. Unlike humans, I never forget a debt owned. You peculiar princess who call me a friend. I hereby purchase your joys and sorrows as a valued product. Moreover, as it is a favorite of mine, I shan't be putting it up for sale. I see. And I suppose I have you pay for it. I was a fool. I couldn't hold back my hatred, nor my wretchedness. And this was the result. I never realized who the real enemy was. I was manipulated to the bitter end. That's why, at the very least, we wish to retaliate. Please leave it to me. I shall follow this trail of blood and make sure to visit vengeance. At the very least, keep Britain safe. We were creatures fated to perish, also very simple. But please protect Britain and this very kingdom in spite of that. not perishing as a matter of course against the great calamity, but rather seeing this year as our final destination, and perishing as we make that our goal. Would you be willing to humor me, _Kaya? Or you, oh so lonely without a kindred spirit, all alone in this world just like me? To protect Britain is the true sense of the word. The order you place has been received. It is, if it is not to defeat, but to protect, then it's clear what I must protect. Please submit to the powerful state-of-the-art united front of NF service. Oh yes, I'll protect it indeed, quickly and swiftly, as the biggest obstruction to the mastermind. Ah, that's Kaya Beast Form. Marine, can you get us a visual? I can't. Our visuals are being jammed. No response on the sonar either. Hold on. Whoa. Will you kindly refrain from firing off those waves like you're off-whaling? It's getting in the way of my focus. Sonic wave interference. A conversation with Konsky is all but inevitable, just like with Limbo. I was hoping for inspiration from her deductions along with collecting data to subdue her. On a separate note, do hurry up if you intend to retreat. This emergency invasion is a one-time bonus. I will have to charge an appropriate fee for a second deployment. Right, commence full speed retreat is bound to be observed sum of money. But we'll still be paying for the price for the first time sooner or later. Truly, it was one head in 9 tails. No, it was more like one survivor in 9 deaths. By the way, are you aware I based this standing joke of mine just now? And the fact we had already trampled against Konsky Olympus. This is bad. We're losing engine output for some reason. Shut up, you old man. Don't turn Konsky off. No, the pressure from the surface is returning. It will appear that even Konsky cannot ward it off more than once. We know it. I don't care if we lose the Tridon, floor it. Aye, sir. My apologies, engine. This is far as the friendship fee goes. I shall be withdrawing my headquarters, so I leave the rest up to everyone in Chaldea. It's easy to misconstrue the curse of Sonaris as a world-ending weapon. Yeah, but this curse is not one directed at forgiving enemies, it's a curse of self-destruction placed on oneself and one's brethren. I had no choice but to absorb it in order to protect the ship, but this is shaping up to quite the poor advancement. The ship made a narrow escape from the heart of Britain. Vargas, the beast of comedy, would transform into a titanic thing that waits to the cities in her wake. Curses continued to overflow Sonaris as it crawled out of the great pit. The fairy village scattered about burned as the earth cracked and collapsed, having reached its limit. 2 hours had passed since the dark bird took off, determined to save Britain. Yet there was nothing left to be saved. The residents of Norwich were fighting over 2 ships and had begun killing each other, divided between humans and fairies. In a barber shop, a human boy confronted a friend fairy girl. Friends who had moved to Oxford, the hopes of becoming new nobody, were annihilated without the means to defend themselves from the Moors. Without the Fan Clan, they were helpless. Salzburg, despite having shut its gate, its act of self-defense met an end glassier than any other city. London silently burned it to ashes. The few survivors of the Round Table welcomed the fleeing fairies and repelled the Moors. In truth, the soldier of Round Table consisted mostly of the wounded, and the huddled fairies steeled themselves and protected them to the bitter end. In contrast, the Duns and Gloucester painlessly disappeared one after another. A girl, a while back, was liberated from the Western Ranch, made her way back to Gloucester after much hardship. To save them prone fairy, her master, who had needed her. Stepping into the burning city, reuniting hand in hand, they disappear into the cracks of the earth. So beautiful, this Britain. That was so beautiful is... That's right, Miss Curate. A Lostbelt cut off from its fantasy tree would disappear unnoticed as though it was just another day. But this is different. This is a total apocalypse. Even if a reason for such an end to exist in this very kingdom. If an individual responsible for this collision were to exist, I would not be able to accept them. I can understand both Curate's sorrow and Holmes' anger. I do understand, but what do we do now? Is that darkness overflowing from the great pit and to propagate across the earth? Shouldn't we be preventing it at all costs? That's no longer possible, even if Sternberg can no longer push it. Our trump card, the 12 Roman years, were destroyed along with Camelot. There's no stopping the collapse, predicted by JP-rKyECtnz Gaius 2 now. That's correct. Bryn destruction is certain. And destruction will propagate across the earth, engulfing Lostbelts and probably history alike in darkness. Come now, there's still hope. You're an hour too early to be giving up. The simple deeds of the fairies accumulate for 14,000 years. The two culminates mentioned in the prophecy, the carcass of the god that appeared in the great pit. The power of proper human history cannot overcome them. They are not something you can defeat. But these are all fantasy, with the situation as their precognition. The British Lostbelt grew into a singularity, and reached a standing like that of proper human history. Distortion of history, so to speak. If you correct the singularities, history will be restored, and the fairy kingdom will never have existed. Truly, this is your expertise after all. You have conducted many such corrections, have you not? I heard it in a dream before leaving for Britain. Yes, this was a mystically... Hello there, I'm sorry I kept you waiting. Everyone's the Magus of Flower Moon has finally taken the stage. It's not like you all to give up. Your fight against Britain is just beginning. Two arrows, fine. But 20, I'll have to do it tomorrow. I can do this one. That'd be it for today. Now let me greet you once more, fellow members of Chaldea. With Morgan's defeat, the garden is no more. I've been freed for quite a while now. Hope you don't mind me being so late. I was a little occupied with other preparations. Foe! That was Calf Palug's voice. No fair sticking with Chaldea. Sorry, Merlin. That was Senpai imitating Foe. Is that what is popular in Chaldea now? You should stop playing such games immediately. Alright, excuse me, I'm still wavering, not entirely unlike a waking dream. The me you're seeing right now is an illusion, I'm not really with you. The only thing that comes back to me are your voices. I can't see Yuki or Miss Mash. So let's put off our joyous reunion for a little bit. Hey, in a few hours I'll be able to see how far you all have grown. I'll be sure to get myself all guys up for you when you find me at the entrance to Avalon. Merlin, you're Merlin the Magician. Was that the voice of the child prophecy? Sorry to surprise you. I have a lot to tell you, but now is not a good time. We'll talk properly later. Your new commander is Gordov, isn't it? Is he here? Yes, I am Gordov Morsik. You're Merlin the Magician, correct? Don't ask why you showed up out of nowhere. This definitely isn't in time. The only thing that matters is what you said. What do you mean by there's still hope? What a nice, powerful voice. It makes you seem like the complete opposite of the previous acting director. Hope is the possibility of preventing the current occurring collapse. To put it bluntly, I want the fairy paradise back here right now. You've been hearing the call of Avalon ever since you rang the bells, right? The time has finally come for the fairy paradise to carry out her mission. Once that happens, you'll be able to defeat the Thanatos and eliminate the singularity. But I'm not qualified enough for that. Whether you are or not doesn't matter. If the fairy paradise returns after ringing the pilgrim's bell, Thanatos' curse will be weakened. It won't vanish entirely, but it won't get any stronger either. This is coming from the god of wisdom who dumped his power on me. The mythology is different, but there's no mistaking it. Isn't that right? Embarrassing. My job is to get Artoria to you. Just so long as she rings the pilgrim, it doesn't matter if she's dead. I knew it. That's how this would go. And Artoria, why aren't you upset? I knew about it already. From the start, I could see what Grim was planning to do. That was the only worst case scenario, Sage Grim. This doesn't apply now. She's in the best possible state right now. That's how it feels to me. The Avalon Fae will fulfill her mission of her own free will. This is ridiculous. That's all here. We've done enough. Let's give up and all get along. Even should others try to convince you, stay the course. No matter what, you all must come to Avalon. I'll be on the Dragon of Boundaries, sank in the dark swamp. From that corpse, you can enter the spirit cave that leads to the inner sea of the planet. Now that Britain is dying, the road has opened up. It's only an hour worth speaking. Be that as it may, it's the world magecraft's most sacred ground. Not just anyone can come in. Yuki as human representative, Mash as a member of Night Roundtable. Our fairy paradise, and well, I guess Meru must come here as our servant. Spirit Cave will open the way for those who are alone. Anyone else will just have to sit tight and wait. So it seems. What do you think, Dark Gordov? What choice do we have? Captain, set course for the dark swamp. I'm sure it was a lake district. Take an advisor. Do you have the coordinates? Locked in and ready to go. But the Spirit Cave, Meru's only letting those 4 people in. I'm not sure about such a small group. More importantly, I've always wanted to see the inner sea of the planet. I guess we would have to trust them and just see them off. Are you ready, Yuki? Yeah, but... well, I guess so. If not, I'd end up arguing with Grim. And if you think about it, isn't this like my first trip back home? I'm kinda looking forward to it now. Very well, then let's amend our strategy according to Merlin's directives. Yuki, Mash, Artoria, Senji, Masa. These 4 will go through the passage labeled by the Spirit Cave and head for the inner sea of the planet to Avalon. The Stormborder will hold position over the Lake District. Captain and Division will stay focused on controlling it. If we were attacking anyway, Grim and I would intercept. Please wait. I may not understand any of this, and I don't know how much help I will be. But I, too, am a son of Britain. If there's an emergency, I will take the field as well. No way. You need to rest, Percival. You're still not fit to fight, are you? This is my decision as child prophecy. Percival must be well cared of and get a lot of rest. Okay, absolutely must. If that doesn't happen, I'll dump my whole mission here and now. Alright then, if that's what the child prophecy orders still. I never thought the time would come when you would seriously scold me. You're always to be so concerned about keeping the peace around you that you stifle your own feelings. You're good at playing honor student, Artoria. You think so? I'm always upfront about my feelings and don't hide anything. Yeah, you're like that when you're acting aggressively. Stupid. The rest of the meantime, you just hide it by acting all meek. I don't act meek, and I don't hide anything. Who are you calling meek, Muramasa? As we said earlier, their Stormbird will hold position over the Lake District. The operation expected for the 3 hours. Any longer than that, the ship Auburn will be gone. We can't predict what will happen inside the spirit cave. Stay cautious, Suki, but use your best judgment. Roger, breaking into the spirit cave, Albion. This is it. It feels different from how the water mirror did when I got sent away in Norwich. This is a spirit cave, Albion. Communications are just like Da Vinci expected. All communication with Chaldea are cut off. Now identifying our current coordinates. 10, 20, 40, 80. 80? Answer may sound unbelievable, but we're currently 80 kilometers below the surface. It's far deeper than Britain's Great Pit. Actually, could this even consider underground? Not only is this pitch dark, but I can't feel my footing. As you can tell, this is a world of different layers. Put simply, it's like a different dimension. There's just a path down here from the surface thanks to Albion's influence. From here, you go even further down. In proper human history, Albion died at 80 kilometers mark. However, in this Lostbelt, it managed to open the path to Avalon. But it's too narrow for it to get through, so it had to die above ground. Is there a spirit cave in proper human history? There is. Over there. It's called the Spirit Tome, though. Spirit Tome Albion of proper human history is a dead end at this depth. Beyond that is the realms of fairies, a land that humans cannot enter. On the other hand, this one isn't bound by that limitation. This Lostbelt itself is a fairy realm. As such, you can go all the way. Put really outside, past the 400 kilometers depths all the way to the D layer, 2,000 and 7,000 kilometers down. That's our destination, the inner sea of the planet. We're only 80 kilometers in, and our destination is at 27,000. Isn't that asking a bit much? Not if you make use of shortcuts. When I said 1 hour, I wasn't talking about distance, I meant time it takes. But you can consistently shorten the travel time to bring you closer to your goal. Then again, this is all but a bit boring. Let's turn on some lights. It suddenly became a cave. What do you think? This fits the name of the place a bit better, don't you think? Now just keep going forwards. Each step you take will reduce the travel time. It's the Earth memory. No, it's more like an infosphere. You can get to your destination faster by skipping past the vague information. That would be a big help, but... Is that Merlin for the first time? Is this the first time you've seen him? There's something wrong? Ah, you're just thinking how to depend on him, right? Oh yes, keep thanking me. You may start doing it too, Muramasa. You know it's my first appearance here in a while, so I want to make a strong impression of the time I have. This seems suspicious, so I won't say anything. You're right. Feels like we shouldn't get too deeply involved in this. I'm more concerned about that though. Senpai, look at the wall. I think that's the insect of the abyss. Oh, is that a reflection of the priestess' memory? There's a good opportunity in the hour it'll take reach the inner sea. I'll tell you how it all began. The Genesis story of Britain's Lostbelt, the Paradise Bearer's mission, and what it entails. In the end was an ocean, in the beginning was an ocean. After the falling star passed, all the earth became an ocean. This is a story from long ago. When the 6 fairies went outside, they found that the whole world had turned into an ocean. I'm sorry you had to face this, and I'm sorry things are this way. A tremendous shadow rose from the ocean. It was a huge body covered in fluffy, bushy hair. On its shoulder sat a single animal that should have no longer existed. The 6 fairies befriended God. The empty ocean was not that interesting, and it was difficult to live in. But the god held back the waves so the 6 fairies could live in comfort. An ocean without waves is nice, but we really miss the land. The 6 fairies gave their joy to the god. The 6 fairies gave their pleas to the god. The 6 fairies offered to God. Their wish was granted. The festival came to an end. Tricked into drinking poison wine, the god passed away. The 6 fairies obtained the god's corpse. It became new lands where there previously was none. They even cared for the animal that screamed it as it was dragged away. Because there was only one person. Because only one person was enough. Scatter in a way that they wouldn't die. They used the magic to make sure it wouldn't die, no matter what they did to it. That was Genesis of Britain. That is how this mistake originated. Let the original 6 be safe. Let the original 6 be cursed. You might have heard it somewhere before, but that's the folktale of how Britain was created. Do you have any questions? Is that how it happened? Is the first 6 fairies, the ancestor of 6 clans, murdered Thanatos. The grave pit in the land above is his grave, and the curse spewing out of it now is his wrath. Why would they? Why would the fairies ever? Well, they killed it because it became a bother. When the 6 fairies left paradise 14,000 years ago, the earth had already become an ocean of emptiness. They were saved by the Celtic geese god that had also come to earth. The god would later be known as Thanatos. He, along with Beast God, Priestess, the last remaining human. They joined and protected the fairies. At first, they were grateful for it. But no matter how much time passed, the ocean of emptiness remained unchanged. The land didn't appear. The fairies eventually came under the impression that Thanatos wasn't strong enough. Besides, the priestess was constantly telling them to live by the rules and reflect on their deeds. They really didn't like that about her. Unable to take it anymore, the fairies decided to kill Thanatos. If there was no land, then a replacement would be fine. The fairies thought, though, if they could float Thanatos' huge corpse, it would be the size of a small island. But their target was a god. He wouldn't die easily, so the fairies devised a plan and held a festival. They said they would enshrine the Celtic beast god as their own deity. They held a feast and fed him wine. Thanatos was overjoyed to be worshipped as a god. He probably thought the fairies were finally repenting for their deeds. Despite his priestess' cries against it, Thanatos accepted the feast. And was killed by the poison wine, and so the festival came to an end. And the priesthood that was left behind. The fairies used her as a basis, no, as the origin of the humans that came later. Every human in Britain, Lostbelt, is a degraded copy of the priestess that was killed during the time of the creation. The 6 fairies were A-ray, so they created children of stone and children of forest to increase their clans. While more and more Thanatos' corpse was turned into land. But life became hard for the fairies after 100 years. The children started to die, and after they died, they drifted away into the ocean like fallen trees. The number of fairies didn't decrease because the next generation will be born. and they were copies of humans made from the priestess cells. So bit by bit, civilization was created. As civilization was built up, the number of roles to play increased. There were more varieties of fairies, and force flourished. So they were dying for no reason at all. The 6 fairies finally realized that this was Thanatos' anger at them. Thanatos' soul had been extinguished, but his body hadn't fully died. For you see, the flames that consumed only his heart had not yet gone out. Thanatos' corpse even now still seethes the rage and curses. He was in a state where he could come back to life at any time. The fairies were astonished and fled from Thanatos' corpse. Fortunately, at that time, the bodies of their children were starting to form new lands. To put it simply, fairy bodies are made up of materials of planets. The fallen trees become earth and rocks, rapidly reclaiming the sea to hide their own sin. And so the island brain became a Lostbelt that spread the use of fairy remains. It took fairies 1 or 2,000 years to obtain a brain of their own. Meanwhile, Thanatos' body remained, the tomb of the god that prevented the ocean from being filled with fallen trees. He refused the corpse of fairies as evidence of lingering sin. Before long, one of the fallen trees dammed up the water, and Thanatos' body was left at the bottom of the ocean. That's what the Great Pit really is. It's not a pit at all, but a dried up ocean. An island created by killing a god, the fairies' original sin. Not only did they kill the god, but also the priestess that served him. Now she was reduced to more than a tool for 14,000 years. No wonder Thanatos is pissed. Killing all the fairies in Britain won't be enough for him. Why did Thanatos come to Earth in the first place? He came down of his own free will, didn't he? Isn't it a bit narrow-minded to curse the entire world because you got killed after being mixed up with fairies? That's probably because Thanatos was the envoy of paradise, who was sent to scold the fairies. Thanatos came down to Earth to punish the fairies from the very beginning. As his mirror shows, Thanatos is a gentle god. He didn't want to go through with punishing them, but from the fairies' viewpoint, his mere being there was terrifying, probably. You don't mean the reason the world became an empty ocean? Yes, how it became a lost world in the first place, the greatest mistake of them all. For you humans, 14,000 years was the greatest turning point in history. You heard Olympus, right? The story of the planet that destroyed the prehistoric ancient civilization. It's a civilization destroying white titan that fell from a shooting star set fire. It laid waste to many mythological cultures and nearly wiped out civilization on Earth. But in the end, it was defeated not by the gods, but by a human. They wielded the power of divine construct. Items said to be forged in the inner sea of the planet for the purpose of opposing that which threatens the planet. The Holy Stork Excalibur is the greatest of those, and originated here in Britain. Here in Britain. And yet nobody ever spoke of it up until now. It's as if the concept of a Holy Star doesn't exist on this version of Britain. So that means Excalibur was never forged. Yep, you can probably guess how well that worked out for them. The humans of this world had no way to defeat Sapphire. So they died out. All the land was razed and reclaimed by the ocean, leaving behind the ocean of emptiness with nothing but a few aquatic organisms remaining. Why wasn't the Holy Sword forged, you ask? The answer is very simple, and one you can probably relate to pretty well. Can't we just get work for once? The 6 fairies were the Ares in charge of forging the Holy Sword in the inner sea of the planet. But they all got together and decided it was ready to slack off, and so they did. After that, they came to realize something was amiss, so they went to Earth service to become aware of the consequence of their action. But they couldn't change what had happened, and they couldn't admit it was their fault that the world ended. As the only god who had taken refuge in paradise for the sake of his priestess, Thanatos was sent as their supervisor to make them repent for their sins. But they killed him along with his priestess, the last human. At that point, they were no longer able to return to the inner sea. Only those without sin may pass, The only fairies that can go to paradise are the innocent. The same goes for the descendant of the 6 fairies, the fairies of Britain. No matter who they are, they cannot enter the inner sea, continuing to suffer. On that cursed island, sin became their atonement. With just one act of sabotage. Yes, everything started because the Holy Sword was never forged. In order to rectify the mistake, a fairy from paradise was selected and sent to Earth. The first of them was Vivian, and the second was you, Castor. Your mission was to gather the 6 clans, to admit their sin, to inherit the mystery of the Holy Sword's creation. The pilgrim's bell indicate that the clan leaders acknowledge their guilt, the fairy who rings them, all because of the Holy Sword itself. Vivian refused to do this and became Morgan. The Holy Sword is created. The foundation of this Lostbelt will no longer be. Castor, when you rang the bell in Orkney, you should have come to realize this. However, you never stopped advancing, defeated Morgan, and came here to get Rohiki. You must have many worries and doubts. You probably still have them. They may never be resolved. But I believe that all the battles you fought getting here are the way of things should be. Odin, it's quite a journey, but we're almost at the end. Ahead of you waits the final dragon, who believes will challenge your qualifications. Only those without sin may pass. It's not about the original sin you carry from birth, or the sins you commit. What will you do now? Where will your hearts go now? The theory of life exists as a living organism, the principle of survival of prosperity. The land of hope will only be open to those who demonstrate those certain needs and strengths. Ruin. The whole surface world in ruin. The sky, the sea, life, all which that I bore witness. There will be no need for my records to accumulate anymore. There will be no need for my joy to be renewed anymore. He who chose the bearer of the Holy Sword, he who chants the name of the king. If you would seek the new world, leave the old one behind. My name is the last dragon, who chose to continue flying above Earth rather than return to the inner sea. If you can go beyond these tears, I would probably devote my heart to the one who reforged the stars. Do I have a single target saber? Deal cursory.
つまらんな。死ね。
ええ、死ぬといいわ。我らは欲しい。
我らは光。我らは光。嵐の後に来る光である。最高のカード。君。ならばた。
神格接続力光我らこそ天
空にて輝く愛イエスクルスデューダリダイ行くぞ ングオーバー。さてカウンティングオーバー。
兄様、何
よかろう。天にて輝くもの、刺激の星。
我らはここに寄りかかる。
気をつけやすい。
あれはいつか見た終わりの星。どれほど遠く汚れても私は星を探すのです。さあ幕を開けてアラウンドカリバーン。
She quite hit hard.
Huh?
ご要望とは。
そうなのね。
切り込む。
白兵戦行きます。今のうちに準備だ。
ハッピーエンドの話をしよう。
望まれたように。
星の宇宙物見の中、楽園の端から君に聞かせよう。罪なき者のに通るガーデン・オブ・アバロン。天にて輝くもの、刺激の星。
我らはここに寄りかかる。
気をつけやすい。
Almost.
それはいつか来る兆しの星。誰に呼ばれるまでもなくあなたは星をかざすでしょう。アラウンドカリバーン。そうなのね。兄様、
罪よここに。
ああ、鐘の音が聞こえる。
Ah, I hear the sound of bells. My heartbeat was ceased to drum, but yours is yet true. Welcome back, O fairy paradise, Avalon. May that hope resound into future. Is that light from the outside? Indeed, it is the entrance to the inner seat of the planet. The realm of everlasting youth, the eternal spring, the answer to the dream may have sought. Welcome to a paradise overflowing with time. Avalon, the journey to the birth of the planet ends here. I finally reached to Avalon, huh? Let's see, 28. I'll do them tomorrow, I guess. Alright, good night everyone. Thanks for stopping by. Though this one was very short though. Because I think the remaining months are gonna be long. Looking at the amount of arrows it has. Okay, bye bye. You're welcome.